an exceptionally busy couple of days ahead of us, and I need to figure out how to properly distribute all of the things I need to do in like the most optimal way possible, you know what I'm saying? I can't see us getting any work done on the weekend, and I've got like things Friday evening, I'm out Wednesday evening. I need to get my hair cut at some point. I've got to get, well, I was planning on going to a co-working thing in town on Thursday. I'm going to a networking thing Wednesday evening. Got a date night with Laura on Friday. I need to go shopping. I need to go to Cribs at some point. I'm thinking I need to go there today. And I need to sort out the car, which I think I can do. I can go via Wilko's on my afternoon walk if I have one day, so that shouldn't be difficult to deal with that one. But I need to get some oil because the mechanic told me not to trust the oil meter inside the car because it lies. All while trying to get as much like work done as possible. So my current plan of attack is do some planning this morning for the next stages of Red Spider, and then about like 10ish head on out to Cribs, go do a little bit of shopping, and then come back and then work for the rest of the day. And then that leaves tomorrow. I can work all morning and all early afternoon before I have to leave into town, and that should maximise amount of work I can do in theory. Yesterday I got a solid 9.5 hours of work done, so I've got like a good head start on myself. But yeah, I'm aiming for a solid 40-hour timed at least this week, and it's going to be harder this week than any other week to hit it. So, because I'm busy. Well, having said that, next week's equally busy because I was probably not going to get much work done Monday or Wednesday, timed work at least. I'm not looking forward to the day that I'm working from home all day and the boiler men are here to change the boiler. I'm not looking forward to that day. It's just going to be a fucking mess. It's not going to be productive at all, so I need to figure out what work I'm going to do that day. Hey Puddy Cat, you okay? You look a bit mangy, to be honest with you, mate. Gonna level with you. Oh, hello. Why are you so wet? Why are you so quiet? You're not making any noise. You're just opening your mouth. Oh. I feel like there's a chance that guy's a stray, so let's walk away. Looks a bit flea bitten. On to more development stuff. I've got like a good old list of admin things I can tick through today, but like the biggest thing I need to do is figure out how I'm going to build these pipelines. So I have them built and there's an image for them, so all I need to do is run the image. I need to figure out how to run those images with access to data that's in blob storage. It's going to be fun. I'm assuming I'm going to need an Azure function. I'm assuming that's what's going to have to go down, to be honest. But yeah, so I believe the next thing I need to do is build up a microservice to orchestrate all of these things, which I think I'm going to call it service.processing. I cannot think of a better name. But like how I'm going to do all these images so that they all like kind of interweave together, I just need to properly like effectively whiteboard that out so I know what I'm doing, so I don't start on the wrong route. Yeah, I'm raring up to get stuck into something that's really complicated. And I've just kind of finished something complicated, so I feel like I'm in the middle of two things, you know what I mean? Like balancing new stuff, which is either really small and like kind of the things you always do, or massive. And I've just come off of something massive, so yeah, I need to do a lot of prioritization and planning to make sure that I do everything that I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, you know what I'm saying? Because time is money, boys. Time is money and you don't want to waste any of it. So I have a plan. I have the plan for the next microservice. This microservice is like, it's kind of not, it's not going to be public facing, I don't think. I think it literally just lives to glue together other services. And it's the one that's actually running managing the analysis of the code. So it's like, it talks to the repository service to make sure that it can get access to what it's doing. Basically, I need to initialize it by going to finding out when something's happened in the repository service, finding out when the pipeline's ready, and then sitting and waiting for updates to happen. And then at that point, it preps everything it needs to do. It does everything it needs to do so that I can then start running containers. I am going to have to defect to functions at that point, PowerShell functions most likely, to kick off the containers and whatnot. But yeah, it's a fun one. But this is the microservice where if it goes down, we can't run analysis, basically. There are other things that will work. The actual, I'm separating out the generating the tests that we want to run. I'm separating that out into its own microservice so that it can just run and be updated on its own. But yeah, and then I'm planning on effectively having that, and then I can build out more microservices that do different types of tests if I deem them necessary, you know? So that's good. Am I happy with that? There's like the complexities of actually running the container I've got to do a spike task to make sure that's actually like doable. And I'm not 100% happy with the way that my functions are deployed to Azure either, because I can't fucking see them. They're there and they're running, but they're just, I can't see anything about them. So I'm not happy about that either. So I need to figure out what's going on there. But yeah, so I feel like I've figured it out. I feel like half of the problem, genuinely, half of the problem with all of this is the names. Shit, you know, I've just come downstairs. I don't know why. Like, all of this can be solved. Half of the problem is figuring out what to call it, because as soon as you figure out what to call it, you know, like, how to scope it. And you're like, so if it's doing this and this and this, it's a bigger deal than you'd imagine. Like, correctly naming and scoping a microservice, or scoping a microservice and then trying to name it around that, is really complicated and difficult to do properly. But like I said, I think I've got it. Woo! Planning finished. I've generated. I'm reaching out to another company / people at that company, because I can't contact them or the company directly. I'm trying to reach out through LinkedIn, which is a little bit more difficult. Although it's really creepy because you can see, like, I was doing some research on some. I activated it. You can use LinkedIn in like private so that people don't know what pages you look at and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't do that, then you get notifications about like who's looking at your profile and all of that kind of good stuff. And I was doing some research on a company and the people at that company. They look like they're really interesting, but they're not in my like technology stack. But I might reach out to them anyway. Because they do look really like impressively interesting, you know. So I was like looking at them and I'm like writing notes about them in my thing, because I do like a little research thing, find out who's there, what the kind of things they use, see what I can find out to see if they're a good client to like potentially reach out to. And then I get a notification being like, the founder from this company has just viewed your LinkedIn profile. I'm like, oh, hello. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. We've got, like I say, about 2 hours of solid work done, solid productive work. It's now time to go out. We're gonna go shopping. I'm not actually 100% sure what I'm getting yet, which isn't great, but we'll see, won't we, when we get there. But it's 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be able to have a look around and get whatever I need to get and then get out. It's my plan. Gotta get there, gotta get back for 12 at the latest. And I do have a semi-significant list of things to get. Trying to put my wallet in my pocket one-handed. Right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go for a night, for a little day out. This is something you definitely shouldn't do when you're at work. The downside of being your own boss. Hey, Jamie, do you want to go shopping? Yeah, fuck it. To be honest, I don't want to spend too much time up here. I'm not entirely sure what I want to get yet. But there's a store here called Loaf, which has just opened. They're like an online store normally, and they've got a mirror that I've wanted to see in person for a long time, because I'm really interested in mirrors, and I've been waiting for it to open so I can open it, so I can go and have a look. But yeah, it's a half an hour to drive here, and half an hour obviously to get back. So I don't want to spend too long here because I need to get back in order to do some work. I'm going to work through lunch today. Check me out. I think that's the mirror just there. Everything in that shop is ludicrously expensive, and it's not as big as I thought it would be. So I like big round mirrors. I think I have a bit of a thing for big round things in general because I like big round clocks as well. Love that shit. This is bloody great. There's no one here. This is like when I used to have flexi time and I used to be able to just take off random dates and you'd do all your shopping on a Tuesday in the middle of the day. It's fucking dead. There's literally like, well, there's obviously cars here, but there's literally like no cars here, you know? In here, I'm on the hunt for a bag. I'm looking for a replacement bag so I don't look like I'm either going to school or I have a bag that's like inappropriate for whatever I'm about to do, you know? I need like a business bag. All right, one last shop. It's not gonna be quite possible to get back for 12, I don't think, but we'll try. We'll try our best. We just gotta pop into Asda. You know what, right? Switch games. I don't think I've ever seen anything hold its value as well as a Switch game has. Like, games that came out 2 years ago, maybe more. I don't know how old the Switch is. The things that came out with the original Switch when it first launched, however many years ago that was, are still above £40. That's insane, pre-owned. Damn. And to be honest with you, I'd begrudge spending 40, £50 on an Xbox game. No offense, Switch. I do kind of want the Formula 1 game on the Xbox, but it's too much money and I don't want to, A, I don't want to spend the money on it, and B, I don't want to have an excuse to do something that's not work, you know? Like this, for example. This fucking shop's insane, by the way. It's absolutely ginormous. Home, and it's 12:10. Not too bad. Got everything I needed to get as well, so that's good. Now is to hide all of this, and then we're going to make sandwiches, we're going to go upstairs, and we're going to work through our lunch, because we've got 2 hours to make up now, boys. Hopefully I've hit my Google Fit goals, and I'm going to go for a walk this afternoon. Come on, I've definitely hit move minutes. Maybe I probably not hit heart points. 5 off heart points. Come on. My God, there's a car been parked outside our house for like 2 weeks. It's just moved. Words. So I'm spinning up a new microservice. It's not something I do all the time, obviously, but it's goddamn tedious. It just feels like so much like I hold up an old microservice. There, that's the last one I've created on the right. I have this one on the left, and I just like make sure I've got everything. But it takes so freaking long. It's like, well, one of the things with Service Fabric, I guess, is there is quite a bit of config. It's not a huge amount, but there is quite a bit. And it's one of the things where if you don't get it right, it's quite difficult to figure out why you've not got it right, you know? So over the past couple of days, I was getting some weird emails from a service where like an email got sent out to me to sign something. And then another email got sent to me like 2 hours later, revoking my access to the thing that was signed. I was like, oh, that's weird. To be honest with you, I kind of thought it was a bit like a hack or something. You know what I mean? Like someone's trying to do a bit of phishing. I'm not clicking any of these bullshit links. You know what I'm saying? So today I had I got an email saying that my engineer was coming around, and this guy's name's blah blah, and I can click on this thing to see his face. Right? Cool. Interesting. So I was like, right, well, I'm not going to click on any of that shit. And then I got sent a new username for an account, and so I clicked on it. I was like, right, okay, I don't have a password here. This is weird. I contacted the company and was like, hi, I would set up an account with you on Facebook. This was, sent them a Facebook message, because they're in America, so I can't ring them. So long story short, I've now messaged the account holder, that company, like on Twitter, Facebook, and via email, and via this guy's account, sent them in contact being like, yo, I have this person's account, something's wrong here, you need to either check whether or not this is fraudulent, or close the account. I have access to this account now, I have the password, because I reset it. So the engineer is some kind of security company, where they are, oh God, fucking hell. It's some sort of security company, and they're setting up, so ironically, and they're setting up like devices at his house. What is this? A police panic alarm has just been reported as being activated. An emergency panic alarm. all of this stuff, fire panic alarm, all of it, like, I'm getting emails for all of this shit. But I message them and I see that they've seen it on Facebook. I've messaged the guy as well. I'm like, dude, they're at your house right now doing stuff. Just fucking reply to me. We can get this sorted out. Like, I could give me your email, I'll change your email for you and send you your password if you want. But I see them see the message on Facebook, and then I get bombed with a load of emails as they update different parts of my account. So they reset my username. I'm assuming I can still log in. But if I can't log in, then I can because it's my fucking email address, you clowns. He can't, because he can't click the verify button. Oh my lord. So yeah, I see them seen it, and then they just like updated, your email address has been updated. Your email address has been updated. Your username has been updated. I'm like, guys, stop panicking. Contact me. Oh my lord. So yeah, this poor bloke, I've got a lot of his information here. The company just won't respond to me. Respond to me, you shits. FML. My god. Oh, what not to do, man. Can I get in trouble for setting the password on an account that was sent to my email address? Because it didn't have a password, so I set one. I feel like that's more secure than not, since we're already pretty fucking lapsed right now. Oh my days. Otherwise, I'm gasping for a cup of tea because I'm on a cup of tea all day. And you know how I was talking about earlier, setting the name for this microservice is like half the battle? Turns out what I actually did was decide a name yesterday, and then decided a better name this morning, and then continued to make the entire microservice using the first name, not the second name. And now having to rename it all is an absolute bastard. It is just the jankiest shit ever. There we go, boys and girls. They've messaged me back. Because they've got a guy there, they'll get the right email address. I'm like, you need to reset the whole account, fam, because it's fucked. It's got my fucking passwords in it. God damn it, mate. The irony that it's a security company as well. Whew. Right, well, cup of tea, gasping. And now that problem is fixed and out of the way, we can get back on with work, okay? Boy. I'm probably going to forego my 5 heart points, I reckon. It's probably not worth it for the effort it'll take. And I'm being productive right now, so. User story is basically done, boys and girls. All I need to do is raise the PRs and make sure they're alright, which they're going to be, because they're like 3 lines of code. Well, except for the new microservice, that's a big one. But the other changes are all good. The only minor... Oh, if I left my glass upstairs, I want a drink. Ugh. I've spun out a new story to like properly handle the states, but the microservice is picking up the fact that these things have been published and it's got the information it needs to be able to roll on with the next stuff. I'm going to do the state modifications. I've started to become minutely aware of the fact that my deletes aren't very good. So I haven't really implemented any of the deletes properly, where it'll, because effectively you've got the repository service. If you delete or unlink your repository, everything else, like what happens if you've linked a pipeline to that? I don't know. At the moment, nothing. It will just like kind of just break. I need to implement deletes properly. In fact, does it just automatically clear down? I'm going to have to check that. But yeah, I've basically realised that I'm not really doing deletes properly and state updates like that. So I've got like a list of bugs or improvements that I want to do at some point, basically building out a backlog, because my laser focused on getting MVPs and stuff all sorted means that there are potential bugs that are just like lying around, basically getting ready to become a problem. But that's like one of the most important things about what I'm doing is I need to be laser focused in order to get this into a state where it's like, it's so big, I can't just fettle and spend time doing things that isn't important. What I need is the proof of concept. I need it up in the cloud, I need it up and running. At that point, I can go and show it to people, for one, most importantly, but two, also stay on top of, oh gosh, got hiccups. But at that point, I can start building out more things and fixing bugs and prioritizing things. But yeah, I do have a big old backlog. But I'm going to have to monitor the states. I'm starting to get to the world now where it does actually matter, because I'm storing things that cost money to store. Whereas previously it's just data in a database where it's like fractions and fractions and fractions of a penny per like megabyte, let alone per object I'm storing. So, but yeah, god damn it. God damn it. Reminds me really, I should probably go through the backlog and groom it a little bit at some point. I might do that tonight actually. I just did a full integration test on the old Badger by linking a repository in the repository service and then watching it do everything. And I completely forgot how much stuff it was doing. And I've now just created like a shitload of service hooks that my functions are now going to answer. And I've created a load of new stuff, to be fair, in the pipeline service, but that doesn't really matter. Because I wanted to test that the two things integrated properly. And they do. What I need to do is I need to migrate the test harness. I had a test harness that puts messages on the bus in a mass transit format for RabbitMQ, but I use Azure Service Bus, so I need to make it work for Azure Service Bus instead. Oh yeah, that's a little bit more. I remember now why I haven't done that yet. But anyway, just because I don't need to do all of this testing, I don't need to do stuff like that just to test it. FML. And what I shouldn't have done is do all of my testing with my company's account. I should have done it with like my own personal shitty account where my old versions of RadSpider live, rather than this newer version. Oh, FML. Because this is actively being used. You know what I mean? I wonder if I can search for all service hooks and like clear them out. Because I've only got 2 things running at the moment. And I bet there's way more than that integrated. Well, we're done. Laura's finished with the gym now, so she's going to be heading back. Which means I am going to move downstairs, take my laptop downstairs. And I might do a combination of, what's it called? What am I going to do, guys? I'm going to do a bit of backlog refinement, because I know there's some things I want to add in there and make sure I've got. And you should always do every now and again. Backlog grooming, and I'm going to start writing emails to my next set of potential customers. I actually got a response today as well, which is pretty good. The person's out of the country for a bit on business, but when he comes back, fingers crossed, boys, that might be Laura telling me to put the oven on. Crisis averted on the old how many service hooks I have thing. There aren't that many. I do have 2 for that one because I did it wrong because I wasn't running the microservice the time I wanted to test it, but we're looking good. Since restarting my computer, I'm having a concerted effort attempting not to go back to Chrome. So, oh god damn it. I'm trying to use Edge. I don't want to put the Edge beta on it, if I can help it. I feel like Firefox, and then I'm going to wait for but I use it a little bit on Atlas, and I've used it before on this. Why am I avoiding that? I'm just trying to avoid Chrome, to be honest. And Edge is fine, like normal Edge, not Edge Chromium, but you can't, it doesn't support like apps, like you can't just pin apps to your start screen. So I might try Firefox and see if Firefox can do it. And then probably put Edge on. I don't want to install a million browsers again. Oh, god damn it. And what's annoying is the 2 Edges fight each other for default, because Edge is aggressive about making you set it as default. Literally. It's the most aggressive thing ever. And then obviously, but I want the beta one to be default. I don't know. Maybe I should just try the Edge beta. What I like about the Chrome, what I want in another browser, is the ability to pick like an app, like Google Keep, let's say, and set it to be like windowed so that it doesn't live in Chrome, it lives in like its own window, and I click it, I can pin it something, and then click on that thing, and then it opens. So I do that with Google Calendar, Keep, Asana, and there's something else as well, which is upstairs. I can't remember what it is, but that's probably it. To be fair, they're probably the 3, but I can't find a way of doing that on Edge. It pisses me off. I'm also attempting to get used to 150 150% UI scaling on this. I've previously always kept it at 175, and I feel like 150 is doable. I'm just trying to get used to it, you know? Do you guys just use Chrome like a bunch of noobs? Or are you Firefox guys or Safari guys maybe even? God damn it. I generally really like Edge, but the problem is they stopped developing it to do the Chromium version of it, and I wish they didn't. God damn. Hopefully if Firefox does progressive web apps, I'm not going to need, I'll just stick with real Edge, real Firefox. If it doesn't, which I don't think it does by the looks of it, I'll get the Chromium version of Edge and then use that for progressive web apps. You forced me to it. Alright, so it turns out I'm going to live my entire life inside real Edge, Edge Beta, which lets me do progressive web apps, and then whenever either of those fail, Firefox. Chrome can jog on. Although I do use it on my phone for obvious reasons, because you can't avoid it. I think I'm going to have to end the video here, ladies and gentlemen, on one singular day. God damn it. We've got quite a good productive day done in the end, to be honest with you. We watched The Capture and Bake Off. Capture is fucking excellent. I'm genuinely enjoying it. What do we hit today? 8 hours. Still got over 8 hours, fam. That is impressive shit. We're only an hour short of yesterday, so we managed to work back some of that time. Happy days. But yeah, so good times. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have a day I'm dreading. It'll be fun, but I'm not looking forward to it. Probably won't be fun. I'm not looking forward to it. But it's I'm jumping very far out of my comfort zone tomorrow. So I'll come back for that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later.